A Russian T-72 rumbles forward on the outskirts of Kharkiv, heading straight toward Ukrainian defensive positions. What you're seeing here is a direct push on the line. Even with explosions landing just feet from Ukrainian trenches, the defenders hold steady under pressure most soldiers would struggle to withstand. This wasn't Russia's first attempt to take this point. To locate exactly where the tank fire is coming from, Ukrainian troops send up a small reconnaissance drone. Within moments, the drone spots the armored vehicle and begins shadowing its movements. Not long after, a team from Ukraine's 47th Brigade deploys a customized FPV strike drone carrying upgraded munitions. The tank crew notices the incoming drone and tries to outrun it. But the blast makes the outcome obvious. This assault isn't breaking through today. This section of the Ukrainian front has remained one of the most intense battlegrounds anywhere on Earth. Both armies constantly change tactics, trying to get even the slightest edge. You've already seen plenty of Ukrainian blowing apart Russian armor or tearing off entire turrets.
Пострел!
In response, Russia started fielding their turtle tanks, older tanks covered in welded metal plates meant to protect troops as they move closer to the front. But Ukrainian forces have already adapted to this idea too. Here, another T-72 rushes in as reinforcements. Ukrainian operators immediately launch a homemade FPV drone fitted with an anti-armor charge. The drone slams into the engine bay with impressive accuracy. Knowing they can't save the vehicle, the crew bails out before the situation gets worse. Look at the turret closely. The anti-drone jamming cage mounted on top didn't make a difference. A second FPV drone lines up from above, aiming for the weak underside of the turret. The crew escaped just seconds before the explosion. That's what led Russian units to start turning out their so-called turtle tanks. As odd as they look, there's a reason behind the design. With so many BMPs and MTLBs destroyed, Russian forces needed another way to move infantry. These armor-heavy tank conversions became the workaround. You've probably seen videos of these metal-wrapped tanks delivering troops into areas where lighter vehicles wouldn't last a minute. Russia believes the extra plating helps shield against smaller FPV drones, so they keep modifying the concept. This T-72 turtle tank is one of them, moving across an open field dotted with mines. To help protect the body, it's fitted with a mine-clearing plow. But the added weight puts a huge load on the engine. This specific vehicle had already moved infantry safely 4 separate times, but not this time. Watch as it crosses a minefield in Ukraine. Several explosions erupt under it, one after another. Metal fragments scatter everywhere. Eventually, the tank can't move anymore. The driver jumps out and runs. What's left of the vehicle is likely destroyed soon after. Then, Ukrainians upgrade their FPV fleet again, equipping them with more powerful warheads built specifically to defeat turtle tanks. Here, another turtle tank rolls over a mine and gets stuck. The new warhead tears the vehicle apart within seconds. Later, Russian forces launch a multi-directional assault toward Ukrainian positions. Several tanks equipped with anti-drone defenses move forward in stages. As soon as they get close enough, Ukrainian artillery opens up. Precise hits slow down the Russian push. not enough to stop it completely, but long enough to buy something vital: time for FPV teams to gear up. Several Ukrainian FPV groups move quickly and send their drones toward the armored column. The first kamikaze drone pilot doesn't hesitate. He dives in immediately and nails his target. As another tank tries to maneuver around the disabled one, a second FPV drone slams into it as well. But 2 tanks aren't enough. More drones are already being armed for the next wave. Russian anti-drone systems are performing better, but Ukrainian drone operators are just as determined. The lead tank in the formation takes more than 3 direct FPV hits before it finally stops moving. A moment later, the next vehicle in line is destroyed too. Soon, the entire column turns into a row of targets, and Russian armor falls one after another. The fact that it takes more drones per vehicle now shows just how much Russia has improved its counter-drone defenses. Now, look at this particular Russian vehicle. Its hull is wrapped in tightly layered steel cables, an entirely new defensive idea. Breaking through a barrier like this may take a large number of drones. Sometimes FPV drones cost next to nothing compared to the price of the vehicles they're destroying. Because of that, you'll likely see this cable-style armor show up on more Russian machines. At one point, Russian units try to punch through the Ukrainian line with a fast armored push. When the vehicles roll into range, the ambush begins. The results are immediate and brutal. Realizing a drone strike is coming, Russian troops abandon their vehicles. This time, the FPV pilot gets a big advantage. The fleeing soldiers left a hatch open. Sending a drone directly inside a vehicle remains one of the most effective and cheapest ways to take it out. A precise flight and a bit of luck lead to a massive blast. For a short stretch of this war, the front lines saw something few people expected. Tanks modified so heavily, so strangely, that they earned the nickname turtle tanks. At first glance, they almost seemed like a joke. Old T-72s and T-80s buried under welded plates, wire grids, cages, and anything else crews could scavenge. They crawled across the battlefield like metal tortoises. But underneath all that awkward armor was a very real purpose. These machines were born out of necessity because cheap FPV drones had changed everything. Tank armor that once felt solid suddenly had major vulnerabilities. Small drones could zip in from above, from behind, or from angles tanks weren't designed to defend. Losses were piling up fast, and there wasn't a quick high-tech fix available. Expensive active protection systems existed, but they were too costly and too slow to produce for every unit. So the turtle tank became the temporary answer, a slow, heavily armored shell meant to absorb impacts long enough to get troops past danger zones. But these vehicles came with major drawbacks. Visibility was terrible, turrets could barely turn, engines overheated, and the tanks moved like they were towing a mountain. Still, they could crawl through drone-filled terrain, detonate mines, and shield soldiers who followed behind. They weren't built to win fights. They were built to survive long enough to help someone else reach safety. The idea was simple. Send one of these metal-clad tanks first, let it trigger mines, draw drone strikes, and clear obstacles, then move infantry behind it. But the limitations became clear fast. FPV pilots learned where the armor was thin, where the cages didn't reach, and which angles offered clean shots. And the slow speed made them easy targets for artillery. Some survived their first encounters, but many were disabled shortly afterwards. They were always a temporary fix, a stopgap solution in a war evolving faster than old equipment could keep up with. Costs varied widely. Some turtle tanks were slapped together in makeshift workshops with scrap metal. Others needed careful reinforcement so the tank wouldn't break under the extra weight. But even at their most expensive, these improvised tanks cost far less than a modern active protection system or a new armored vehicle. A few $100s in metal could delay the destruction of equipment worth millions. But as the conflict progressed, turtle tanks became outdated. New drone tech, better jamming systems, and improved armor designs pushed these improvised creations into irrelevance. Today, turtle tanks are almost never seen. They remain a strange chapter in armored vehicle history, an example of battlefield improvisation, creativity, and the lengths armies go when traditional equipment can't keep up with a changing war.